Welcome to Artificial Intelligence for Work, School, and Life, the podcast for educators, students, workers, and lifelong learners who want to understand one of the most transformative technologies ever built and use it wisely. Every episode, we explore what AI really is, not the science fiction version, not the hype, not the fear, but the real, documented, evidence-based story of what AI can do, what it can't, and what it means for the people who teach, learn, and use it professionally and personally every day. Are you ready to begin? Okay, let's get started. Let's figure this out together.
Episode 9, AI as a Learning Partner, Personalized Education at Scale. Key vocabulary: personalized learning. An educational approach that tailors the pace, content, and methods of learning to each individual student's needs, strengths, and interests. Personalized learning supported by AI allows a classroom of 30 students to each follow a different path through the same curriculum, progressing at their own pace. Learning analytics. The measurement, collection, and analysis of data about learners and their contexts for the purpose of understanding and optimizing learning. Learning analytics helped the school identify that a significant number of students were consistently abandoning an online module at the same point, suggesting the content needed revision. Mastery learning. An instructional approach in which students must demonstrate full understanding of material before advancing to the next topic. AI platforms that support mastery learning ensure that no student moves forward to algebra before fully mastering the foundational concepts of arithmetic. Scaffolding. Instructional support provided to help students accomplish tasks they cannot yet do independently, gradually withdrawn as competence grows. The AI tutor provided scaffolding by breaking a complex essay prompt into smaller steps, guiding the student through brainstorming, outlining, and drafting before writing the full piece. Engagement. The degree to which a student is actively, intellectually, and emotionally invested in the learning process. Research consistently shows that student engagement is one of the strongest predictors of academic achievement, and AI tools designed with engagement in mind can help sustain motivation over time. Feature article. One teacher, 30 students, and the AI that changes everything. In an ideal educational world, every student would have a private tutor, someone who knows their strengths and weaknesses, adjusts explanations when confusion arises, celebrates their progress, and never gives up. That ideal has long been reserved for the privileged few. Artificial intelligence is beginning to change this fundamental inequality. Personalized learning at scale is perhaps the most transformative promise of AI in education. Traditional classroom instruction, by necessity, targets the middle of the distribution. Most lessons are designed for the average student, leaving both advanced learners under-challenged and struggling students behind. AI-powered adaptive platforms can simultaneously serve 30 different students at 30 different levels, adjusting in real time to each individual's performance. Platforms like Squirrel AI, developed in China, use machine learning to build detailed maps of each student's knowledge state, identifying not just what they know but the specific gaps that are preventing further progress. In randomized trials, Squirrel AI students have shown significantly greater learning gains than students in traditional classrooms, with equivalent results achieved in a fraction of the time. Similar results have been reported for platforms like Dreambox in mathematics and Lexia in reading literacy. Khan Academy's Khanmigo represents a different approach to AI personalization, conversational tutoring. Rather than just presenting exercises, Khanmigo engages students in Socratic dialogue, asking questions that guide them toward understanding rather than simply providing answers. This approach mirrors the methodology of great human tutors, help the student think through a problem rather than solving it for them. Learning analytics, the collection and analysis of data about how students engage with content, is another dimension of AI's role as learning partner. When a student watches a video lecture multiple times, pauses at specific moments, or abandons an activity before completing it, these behaviors generate data that AI can use to infer confusion, frustration, or lack of engagement. Instructors and platforms can then intervene with targeted support. The implications for equity are profound. Students from low-income families have historically lacked access to the private tutors, enrichment programs, and small class sizes that advantage wealthier peers. If personalized AI learning tools are made universally accessible, through public investment, open-source development, and equitable device access, they could become the great equalizer of 21st-century education. Yet equality of access is not guaranteed. The digital divide, unequal access to reliable internet and computing devices, remains a serious barrier. And even when access is equal, the quality of AI instruction varies enormously. Teachers, policymakers, and communities must work together to ensure that AI-powered personalized learning serves all students, not just those already privileged. Review questions and answers. 1. Why is personalized learning at scale considered one of AI's most important educational contributions? Traditional classroom instruction must target an average student, leaving high and low performers underserved. AI can simultaneously adjust content, pace, and support for every student in a class individually, providing the equivalent of a personal tutor to all learners regardless of their family's economic status. 2. How does Khanmigo differ from other AI tutoring platforms? Unlike platforms that simply adjust the difficulty of exercises, Khanmigo engages students in Socratic dialogue, asking guiding questions to help students reason through problems themselves rather than providing direct answers. This approach more closely mirrors the methodology of an excellent human tutor. 3. What is learning analytics, and how can it improve student outcomes? Learning analytics involves collecting and analyzing data about how students interact with learning content, including time spent, actions taken, and patterns of struggle or disengagement. This data allows AI systems and teachers to identify students who need support early and provide targeted interventions before small gaps become large failures. 4. How does mastery learning differ from traditional grade-based progression? Traditional grade-based progression moves all students through a curriculum on the same schedule regardless of individual mastery. Mastery learning requires students to demonstrate complete understanding of each concept before advancing, ensuring no one builds on a shaky foundation. An approach AI platforms can implement individually for each student. 5. What obstacles prevent AI personalized learning from becoming an equalizer in education? The primary obstacles include the digital divide, unequal access to devices and internet, variable quality of AI tools, lack of teacher training, language and cultural barriers in AI content, and the absence of policy frameworks ensuring equitable deployment. Without deliberate public investment and policy commitment, AI risks widening rather than narrowing educational inequalities.
That's our episode for this week. Thank you for thinking alongside us today. Every conversation on this podcast starts from one belief, that understanding artificial intelligence isn't just for engineers and executives. It's for every teacher standing in front of a classroom, every student staring at a blank page, every parent trying to make sense of a world that changed faster than anyone expected. AI will not replace great teachers. It will not replace human creativity, human empathy, or human judgment. But it will, and already does, change the conditions in which all of those things happen. And the people who shape those conditions are the people who understand what they're working with. That's why we're here. That's why you're here. Before you go, we have one ask. Take something from today's episode into your classroom, your school, your community, or your own quiet reflection. Ask a question you hadn't thought to ask before. Share a tool with a colleague who needs it. Challenge an assumption, including one of ours. This has been this week's episode of Artificial Intelligence for Work, School, and Life podcast. Have a wonderful week ahead, and we look forward to reconnecting with you next week. Keep thinking. Keep questioning. Keep learning.